So we just want y'all to get on the floor. Y'all go ahead and pay attention to what they got to say. This our community. This our leadership, and you know, we let everybody speak their piece. What's your name, sir? Let them know.
My name is Santini. I'm running for lieutenant governor. I'm not a career politician. My family is multicultural. Black, Hispanic.
Hold on. Put this on wrong for Mike.
No, you gotta just talk into it.
Talk closer.
Yeah, talk closer.
My family is multicultural. Black, Hispanic, white, Latino, Asian, but we're all Americans. What's happening in our communities is because of failed leadership in our legislation, in our government's office, in our Congress, and in our Senate. They're not listening to us. You file a grievance, it falls on deaf ears. You file another grievance, it falls on deaf ears. Eventually you have to stand up and you have to start protesting and rioting because they're not listening. They're keeping us oppressed. What happens when the government raises the taxes? It hurts our low-income communities more than anybody else. What happens when a police officer violates your rights? Nothing. You can file a complaint, but nothing happens. Unless you have it on video, nothing happens. Right now, what's happening across our country is systemic. It's systemic of a government that is not listening to the people. We have no way to address our grievances. None whatsoever, no matter what we do. We yell, we scream, we cry. Some of us commit suicide, like 22 veterans a day that go into the VA looking for help and don't get it. What do we need to do? We need to raise our communities up. We need to lower taxes. We need to put body cameras that live stream on every police officer and hold them accountable the day they violate their oath, the day they violate our rights. Is it fair that you can get pulled over just for being black? Is it fair that you can get pulled over because your car isn't brand new and you're in a nice neighborhood? And then when the police officer comes to your window, he gives you all these laws that gives him the right to take away your rights. That's not right. And we're not going to stand for that. And in order for change to happen, we need to elect regular people into office. Regular people that are going to stand up and say, this isn't right, we need to change it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not during the next election, today. But we don't have the ability to change it today. The government does not give us that ability. You have politicians that have been in office for 30 or more years on both Republican and Democrat sides. None of them have made a difference in our low-income communities. None of them has stopped racism. None of them. But they've been there for 30 years. And they tell you every election year, I'm going to stop it this year. I'm going to make changes this year. In our black communities, they say, we're going to give you $3 million for your community. But then we're going to raise the taxes so you can't afford it anyway.
Yep.
Then the government has programs where they auction off all their surplus. They auction it off. Why can't we use that surplus in our black communities? Why can't we use that surplus for somebody that wants to start a business? Then you got people like Governor Northam, who's taking your rights away through an executive order, telling you you cannot open up your business because I said so. It is your choice to open up your business, not his. It is your customer's choice to decide if they want to go to your business, not his. This is a constitutional right. But our Constitution has been watered down year after year, decade after decade by career politicians looking for a precedent to water down next year's the Constitution next year or the year after. The only way we're going to change is if we elect regular people, not career politicians. That's where real change comes from. When you run for office, when you run for office, when you run for office, take that mayor spot, be on the city council, be on your school board. Make that change happen. Merle? Oh, gun rights. I'm a big Second Amendment fan. I believe you should have the right to defend yourself, no matter where you are. I believe that. You can disagree, and I understand, but that's your right as an American to disagree. But if you take away one right, it gives them the ability to take away the rest. Today is the anniversary of Virginia's Bill of Rights. Today is the day that the Bill of Rights was adopted in Virginia. And those Bill of Rights that Virginia adopted on this day in 1776 were largely used in the Constitution's Bill of Rights. A good majority of the Virginia Bill of Rights was used across our country. And the Bill of Rights does not say white man is free, white man has freedom of speech. The Bill of Rights does not say the white man has the right to bear arms. The Bill of Rights says the people have the right to religion, to freedom of speech, to bear arms, to protect themselves, to protect their family, to protect their property. You have a right to open up your business regardless of what the governor says. It's in the Constitution. The Department of Justice just a few weeks ago put out a statement on that. It says your Bill of Rights are not suspended under a national emergency, nor are they suspended under a state emergency.
Late reaction.
They cannot make you do it. You're letting them keep you from opening your business. You're letting them do it. You don't have to. Yes, you could get a fine, you could get arrested, you could get shut down, but that is how we rise. We rise by opposing hatred. We rise by opposing racism. We rise by opposing authoritarian totalism. We are Americans. We are free. We are united under the Constitution. If you want to be free, if you want to end racism, you have to end career politicians, because they're the ones that are keeping it in play, both Democrat and Republican. Their policies hurt the people. They don't help the people. Merle? This is Merle Rutledge, ladies and gentlemen. He's running for governor 2021. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'll put this up here. I'm running as the first black Republican for governor of Virginia. Now, what that means? It means I don't care if somebody's Democrat, I don't care if they're Republican. The fact is, it's time for people to start doing, politicians to start doing what's right for the people. Now, I'm a big First Amendment advocate. I believe in your right to protest, to peacefully protest. I believe in protecting it. I'm so glad that the 2A people, which is the gun rights advocates, were the ones who got me up here on this stage to speak to everybody. I believe in them having the right to protect you from monsters, animals, and those who prey on protests and use y'all for y'all purpose. Now, a couple of things I'm all about.
Same place.
On my shirt, you can see I'm pro marijuana, meaning no fine, no jail, meaning marijuana will become completely legal.
Yes, sir.
Records
and that's why I do these, so
will
people
be
like you can come up
expunged.
and say, hey, you should
Those
talk about
with
this as well.
non-violent
And next time I
felonies
will.
or
Absolutely.
misdemeanors after 5 years will have their records expunged automatically. I know so many people here are tired of the government jumping down their back. Y'all tired of people, politicians, telling you what they are going to do and they ain't living out their promises. That's the biggest problem. They say that they're going to lower your taxes, and now your taxes is sky high. Y'all are in a pandemic right now, and the number one question that keeps coming up, how are y'all going to pay for your rent, utilities, and whether your job is going to be there after you decide, or when Virginia decides to open back up. I would never have a state of emergency without a plan for people to survive and get through it. Number one, nobody's talking about how you're going to pay your bills, right? Nobody. I'm the one who said exactly, if I order a state of emergency, we're going to have a plan for your rent, a plan for your utilities, and making sure Virginia comes first. Plain and simple. I know y'all get tired of politicians coming up here and telling you about some big giant dream of Wonderland, and basically telling y'all all the stuff that they say they're going to do. Y'all said minimum wage was going to happen. Y'all haven't seen that one get increased, right? Those promises have been nothing but lies over and over again, and y'all are the proof of it. Now, also with my plans is to start making sure with criminal justice reform, which is going to be one of my biggest platforms. Number one, I want judges to be elected, not appointed because they got campaign cash. I want defendants, attorneys, as well as prosecutors having open file discovery. That means that both sides see the same information. I want body-worn cameras from police to be automatically released if you're subject to it. Not too many candidates talk about that because they're trying to be politically correct. I'm not trying to be politically correct at all. I can tell you that. Now, for the most part, I know so many of you right now are dealing with the COVID and the pandemic and all this other stuff, and y'all are trying to basically survive day to day. And nobody's talking to y'all about exactly what are you going to be able to do after this is all over and Virginia is open right back up. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to tell everybody, no matter how much you march, no matter how much you protest, you need to be voting at the ballot box and register to vote. And there's a table over there, right over there, for those who are not registered to vote. Because there's too many people talking and nobody committing to action. And that's the problem that y'all have with politicians right now. I heard that Mayor Stoney, and I'm going to bring his name up because he's your city of Richmond mayor. Now, people show up for your protest, right? They get their nice little photo out with your protest. But when it comes down to making sure they live by exactly what they talk about, you don't see that happen. Anybody can ride around a half a mile to say, hey, I care about the people. But last time I checked, the police is still tear gassing you, right? The police is still not being held accountable to your standards. And the police, at the same time frame, are still doing exactly what you said was wrong. There must be substantive change. You can't have it diluted and expect for change. Now, if you're looking at people being watered down through politics and politicians, it's because people try to vote for a celebrity and they don't vote for patriots. That's the problem. People vote for people trying to be on TV, not for those trying to do the hard work and change this country inch by inch, mile by mile. I'm not a soft speaker, so I tell it like it is. Now, when I see the bikers and all you people from different walks of life coming together, it makes me proud. That's exactly what my campaign is about. But I'm going to tell you, it's not easy. I can tell you that. There's so many people right now that don't want you to come together, because if you come together, you get a chance to find out what's really going on here in America from different walks of life. We cannot be against supremacy if we are anti-supremacy from another race. We are about equality and treating people equally. And that's exactly the process that started here in Virginia that has called for the protest and has called for this type of stuff to go on here in Virginia. know some of y'all agree with the fact that all this stuff going on right here, the monument being removed. I'm going to read out the truth that nobody else tells you because I'm not a politician. As much as you remove history, I'm going to get controversial, I guess. During this time frame of talking about removing monuments, there have been more Michael Jackson monuments actually removed. More black leaders who were faced with scandals monuments removed. Rarely has a Confederate statue ever been taken down. Ever. What I'm trying to say here, if you go after one person's history, or one race's history, or one background's history, they're going to come after yours. This sets the precedent that nobody's talking about. I love history. I can tell you that one. It's every single fight and battle which has made us Americans to this day. Plain and simple. There's history that's offensive and repulsive. There's history that you don't agree with. You go to a museum and you see that history everywhere because you learn exactly not to repeat the mistakes of the past. If you don't know about it, you are doomed to repeat it. There's a such thing as respecting all sides of history. Now, I understand y'all mad, and y'all have showed exactly a part of history that says y'all are enraged and y'all are angry about what the system has been going through. That's exactly what this represents. And nobody is making excuses for exactly the suffering that y'all have faced. From no race or any race. But the fact is, we must be able, even whether this statute stays up or comes down, we must be able to recognize the fact that we must come together. We must start getting to know each other as brothers and sisters. Because it's going to be a time where we are faced with some of the hardest issues in America that won't deal with race. It's going to deal with us just being Americans. Americans' history, American spirit, and everything else is being wiped away from the books every single day. Now, I'm all about people practicing their religion. Y'all have seen throughout this time frame religion be attacked from all walks of life. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're Jew, whether you're Catholic. Your right to worship will be protected by Merle, Rutledge. The state or the federal government will not have the right to close down your church. And I was brought up in the church. A lot of you was brought up in the church. So when politicians do stuff like this, and what you're seeing right now, that's what we call the swamp. The swamp isn't for Democrats. The swamp isn't for Republicans. The swamp is for anybody screwing over America. I normally say a lot worse than that. But when I look at the youth in our future and those who come behind us, we must protect the heritage that we have now so we can teach those stories to our future. We won't be able to teach those stories to our future the more that government overreaches into your life. They will control what your future is. They will control what your history is. That doesn't apply because you're black, doesn't apply because you're just white or whatever. It only applies to the fact that sometimes what we think is short-term has long-term consequences. That's what I'm bringing up. I'm a true patriot, and I love America. I know whether what race you are or whatever, I know you all love America. Y'all was born here. Y'all made your story here. You had your lives. Whether it's been good or bad, you have overcome every single thing here in America. Those stories you watch on Netflix, those stories you read in the book, those battles, those wars, or whatever, that was America being America. We are a more perfect union than ever before right now. We are seeing that through every single person that is here, black, white, Hispanic, no matter what. There was no such thing as the easy way. Black people can tell you that. White people can tell you that. Hispanics can tell you that. The thing is, we need to make sure we preserve it. When people get out of jail, it's because people preserve the evidence for them to get out of jail. Well, we're going to be so blinded with patriotism for the wrong thing. I'm here, and I automatically told people, I'm one of the candidates that will look at wrongful convictions directly. I'm one of the candidates that believes in criminal justice reform, but I also wanted to tie that in with why history is so important for each and everybody here today. I had no rights. The government has no rights, state or federal, to tell you who you want to be, because they've been telling you who to be for the longest kind of time. Y'all think we just had lawyers in our background all of a sudden? Y'all think we just had doctors all of a sudden? No. Imagine how hard they had to fight for it. Imagine how hard they had to fight for an education. Imagine how hard you have fought for the job that you have today. Your history being destroyed takes away exactly that fight. I didn't come out here to be nice about it, because some people don't talk like that because they're afraid. They're afraid of what people may think. I'll always come to any politician, whether Republican or Democrat, and tell them the truth, regardless of the consequence. Me being a black Republican, great, but it doesn't mean nothing if I sell out America and pick a party over my country. That's what's happening right now. Everybody is angry, frustrated at the system. The system that has been practicing abuse, and they're practicing it right now by having people against each other. I'm all about bringing people together, but I'm also about people telling the hard stories and the real truth. America was built on the hard work of everybody here. This statue being here, whether you like it or not, there was a civil war. Who won it? That's the reminder. When Dr. King talked about the content of people's character over the color of their skin, I do not want history to make this fundamental mistake, which we are making, if we continue in a direction without coming together. What that means is, everybody here, in general, everybody here that's walking around playing games or whatever it may be, we was all discriminated against because of the color of our skin. We were never really at the point that we are here in America right now, being judged by the content of our character. Do not make the mistake in any protest or any civil rights movement that doesn't say for us as people to treat each other as equals. Because right now, it may seem good, it may seem like a great time in history, but we should preserve this history too. So my name is Merle Rutledge. I'm the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, and I hope that you take the time to get to know me and find out about my policies and more. The reason is because I'm not running as a politician, I'm running as a patriot. That means more to me, my country, than if my politics offends anybody. And I hope after this speech, I'll take the time to say, yes, we will honor and cherish all history. We will protect and honor all religions. We will protect and honor the right to defend each other, where everybody has that right and is treated equally. We will all love one another as brothers and sisters, and we do not think that we are bigger or more supreme than anybody else. Our character will weigh our weight in history, but our love will last their time. My name is Merle, and I'm running for 2021 candidate for governor of the state.